From family events to volunteer opportunities to community happenings, there is a lot going on in your community. Learn about all the possibilities and opportunities on this episode of Community Hotline.
Hi, and welcome to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel. We're here at MetroEast Community Media in Gresham, Oregon. And whether you live in Gresham, work in Gresham, or just occasionally visit Gresham, you should know about the Gresham Area Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center. And here to talk about that tonight is Allison Hart, the CEO of Gresham Area Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center, which is a whole lot of a mouthful.
The longest name ever.
And Keith Evans, who is the president of the board of directors. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So, Allison, let me start with you if we can. You've been on before, and the Chamber of Commerce does all sorts of stuff, but I'd like our viewers to hear about the I believe you call them the four core competencies, what the Chamber is all about, and then tell me what's new going on.
Right. Well, our core competencies are in 4 areas, as you said. That's representing the business interest to government, promoting and creating a strong local economy, promoting the community, and also providing networking and business connection opportunities. So those would be the 4 areas. And then we have a variety of programs that go along with that, and our strategic goals are based along those lines as well. And so what Keith and I thought we could do today is talk a little bit about where we're headed in 2012.
Great. Yeah, tell us what's new. And Keith, how long have you been involved with the Chamber?
I think it's been about 15 years.
Oh, wow.
A member of the Chamber.
Wow,
I've been on the board for 40
years.
Been
around longer than Allison has here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Quite a while, yeah.
Yeah, and I bet you've seen a lot of changes in Gresham in that time.
There's been a lot of changes in the area, absolutely.
Yeah. What about in the Chamber itself?
Yeah, you see a lot of changes. A lot of different people come and go, and some really strong times, and then other times where you're kind of rebuilding. But
how do you feel about the times right now in Gresham?
I think these are good times.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, especially within the Chamber. I think we have a lot of good momentum, and a lot of things are getting stronger all the time. And I think we have a lot more to offer the community in a great way.
I think so too. Whenever I've been to a Chamber event, there was a great sense of camaraderie and support for each other. And I think that was the thing that impressed me the most the first time I went to a Chamber event, was that the support from one business person to another is amazing, really. And they try to not only attend events but they support others' businesses, and it's a good thing. So what do you have going on this year in 2012?
Well, a couple different things. We expanded our programming considerably this year. We created a series of programs which we're calling Chamber Tuesday. So every Tuesday there's something going on. We thought it might be a good way to keep people focused. Like, if you want to know what's happening, look on Tuesday at the Chamber, put it in your calendar. So we have a variety of lunchtime events, and some of them are educational. We have something called Learn at Lunch, which is geared towards small business and aiding small businesses. We've had a couple different topics. One of them was Facebook for business.
Perfect.
We also did one on branding and marketing, and our one coming up next week will be on networking, because a big part of the Chamber is networking, but a lot of people will go to events and talk to the same people that they know. So one of the things we're encouraging people to do is learn how to step out of your comfort zone and really use that time to build relationships, because people buy from or do business with people they know and like, but you need to create that connection.
Makes sense. Yeah, those are all very timely things. Branding,
Absolutely.
Facebook, and networking. Those are things that you hear. Those are some of the catchphrases you hear all the time. So you have evening events too, though?
We do an after hours. That was actually last night, which we had at Gresham Ford, and there were about 50 people there, and we talked a lot about Try Local First, one of our programs that also helps promote the economic vitality in our region.
Well, before you go on, while you're on the subject, tell us a little bit about Try Local First.
Try Local First is a committee of the Chamber, but we're also a coalition of other organizations. We partner with the Historic Downtown Gresham Business Association, with East Metro Economic Alliance, with Gresham Downtown Development Association and the
I know.
West Columbia
All those
Gorge
acronyms,
Chamber
yeah.
of Commerce. And the idea is to really encourage people and educate people about buying local, because if you spend your money locally, it can stimulate the economy in ways that are I mean, it's just so huge what it can do for our economy.
Yeah, it's
it's a huge impact.
It's not just the money going to that particular vendor.
It isn't, because local
person.
people who own local businesses tend to invest back into the community themselves. And as our chair of the committee, Bess Wills, who's also our incoming president-elect, says, the job you save may be your neighbors, and
That's
it's
right.
true.
That's right.
It's true.
Well, I think we have a little public service announcement from about Try Local First, featuring you and Travis Stovall, who is on the board at MetroEast, but is a business person here in Gresham. So I think this might be a good time to take a look at that public service announcement.
Hi, I'm Allison Hart, CEO of the Gresham Area Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center.
And I'm Travis Stovall, Executive Director of the East Metro Economic Alliance.
The Gresham Area Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center encourages you to shop locally. There are lots of reasons to shop locally. Here are 3.
Number 1, most new jobs are provided by local businesses. This is not just true in our community, but nationally. It is really important to spend your disposable income with local businesses, creating the maximum of job opportunities in our community.
Number 2, when our dollars are kept locally, the taxes collected from those purchases are spent right here in our community for police, fire, and other public services. Safer communities happen when we spend locally.
Number 3, shopping locally even helps our environment.
So please join with the Gresham Historic Downtown Business Association,
The West Columbia Gorge Chamber of Commerce,
East Metro Economic Alliance,
Rockwood Business Coalition,
and the Gresham Downtown Development Association to try local first.
If you would like to learn more, please go to trylocalfirst.org.
Thank you for shopping locally.
The Try Local First Coalition was created by the Gresham Area Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center.
Great. That was made right here at MetroEast.
It was. And MetroEast has been a great partner for the Chamber. We actually do quite a few things. One of the things that is along the lines with our representing the business interest to government is we have our Government Affairs Council on Tuesdays, the 3rd Tuesday of the month, where we have elected officials speak, or people like Bill Wyatt of the Port of Portland to talk about important issues to our region. And MetroEast comes every month and actually tapes our sessions and then airs them here, as well as providing us with footage to put on our website. So that's one of the ways we work in community.
Yeah, it's a good partnership. Yeah,
absolutely.
We like it. So hopefully we'll continue that for many years to come. So Keith, what has been what's your passion at the Chamber? What are you most interested in of all these 4 core competencies? What's the one that interests you the most?
Well, being a local pastor, what motivated me from the beginning to be a part of the Chamber was just the opportunity to strengthen our community, to be a part of the community and not be separate from, sometimes churches can be separate. So
that's true.
I wanted to be a part, and over time, that's exactly what's happened. I've gotten to know a lot of the business leaders and owners in the community, and I think help just be a part of strengthening the community.
Good.
But one of the things we've learned over the last year, I think both a real strength of the Chamber has been there's been a number of nonprofits, and we have a lot of great organizations in the community, but we realized as well that we need to do all that we can to strengthen local businesses, and so that's a part of what we're trying to focus on even more and be more effective in helping do that. So like our Tuesday meetings, providing more opportunities for that. But one of the core competencies is promoting the community, and so that's a broad. There's a broad way that we do that.
There's a lot of ways to do that.
Yeah, partly with the nonprofits, but just there's a number of ways that we do that.
How do you work with nonprofits? I mean, obviously we're a nonprofit, so that's one way. Is it that kind of thing? I mean, partner with them in just a variety of ways?
Well, some of it's partnership. We are a membership organization, so all the nonprofits, and we do have 85, quite a lot, are members of the Chamber, and we can help promote their particular
85
events.
nonprofits?
85 nonprofits
Wow.
that are Chamber members. We have over 500 members, so it's quite a lot altogether. And so some of it is that you just have the opportunity for a lot of exposure to the business community, and there's really a symbiotic relationship between nonprofits and the business community, because the nonprofits need the businesses, but the businesses also support the nonprofits, and therefore it goes round and round. So we work both ways, and some of it's community service and that type of thing. But then there's the nonprofits such as yourself that we're able to make a partnership because you have a service that we need, and we're able to provide promotion for you as well.
You have some content for our television channels.
Exactly.
You know, it reminds me of Human Solutions out in the Rockwood area. You know, that's a perfect example of a nonprofit and their new location there. How they worked with area businesses like the banks and the mortgage brokers and all that to actually get what they needed.
Well, and it's an interesting thing because everything is tied together, because nonprofits actually make a big part of the economy, because if there's a nonprofit in the community, they need to buy services as well. And that's where things like Try Local First, if we can encourage the nonprofit to buy locally and look to their services and what have you, it increases that economic vitality in the region.
Don't you love the win-win things?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so we talked about the promoting the community and the strong local economy. What else? What else do you do?
I would say one of the big goals that we're taking on this year is advocacy, and that's where we talk about being the voice of business to government.
Which is something I never knew till you told me about that the Gresham, that the Chamber of Commerce was involved in.
Well, it's something we're developing. We're putting together a platform through our Government Affairs Council, and so this year we'll be putting together policies and a procedure and a format. And there are very important issues that come through legislation that affect businesses and communities, and so we're going to take a more active role in speaking on what those are about and helping to educate our members about how those can impact them. And so the Chamber will be setting that up. And another big part of this advocacy is just the relationships we have with city, county, with elected officials at the city level, the county level, the state level, and also the federal level. Like, for example, yesterday Earl Blumenauer spoke at our Government Affairs Council, and it was great because he went around the room and heard everyone's concerns, but it helped us have a better idea about what the needs are in the community as well.
That's great. That's right.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah, it certainly is. I have to ask, it used to be just the Gresham Area Chamber of Commerce. Now it's and Visitors Center. Keith, that was added why?
Well, I think that was added several years ago. You might actually have a better history of it than I do.
I don't know the exact history of when it was added, but the Visitor Center is a part of what we do for Gresham. It's one of the ways we promote the community. So we field visitors that come into the office. We provide maps. We have a business directory and visitor guide with all kinds of information about the community.
We have some of those directories here at MetroEast for you next week.
We have a map that we produce. We've actually got a new one that should be done in the next month or so that we're producing for the community. We're one of the only organizations that produces a map of Gresham and the East County area. And it's not just Gresham. It's the Gresham area because we represent Gresham, Fairview, Wood Village, Troutdale. We actually have members in Boring and Damascus as well. So it's actually a very broad area. We actually have a couple in Sandy too. So it really is about the region and promoting the region.
Well, good. We only have a couple minutes left. So what else? I know there's so many things to talk about. So what else in 2 minutes can you tell me that we really should know about the Chamber?
I think that the Chamber is a great place for nonprofits, large businesses, small business alike. And we're really looking to have diverse programs to work with all of those individuals, whether it be that you're interested in advocacy or you're interested in networking because you're more of a business to consumer type business. We can offer something for all of you. And I would say we're in a transformational mode where we're really growing and changing and really looking to serve the community and the business community particularly in a much larger capacity.
Good. Keith, any last words? Would you encourage somebody to join the Chamber?
That's exactly what I was going to say. If someone's curious and maybe was a part of it at one time and hasn't been for a long time or has never checked it out, check us out.
Doesn't cost anything to check it out,
right?
That's
exactly right.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of opportunities. There's not just one way to be involved. Some people can attend meetings or networking meetings. For others, that's just not going to work, but there are other ways that they can benefit from the Chamber. So go to our website or come to call the office, but there's a number of ways that could benefit the business.
Good. Thank you. Thank you both for being on here tonight.
Thank you, Monica.
So if you're interested in finding out more about the Gresham Area Chamber of Commerce, you know the website is on your screen, so be sure and check them out. And don't go away, we'll be right back with more of Community Hotline.
Needs a helping hand at some time or another.
A hand up, not a handout.
Who would you turn to if you couldn't pay your rent and were facing eviction?
Who would help you if your power got turned off?
Who would you call if you didn't have anywhere to sleep?
You may not need help, but someone out there does.
Help families in need in your community. Call Human Solutions.
Human Solutions.
503-548-0200.
Does your school have an art program? Have you ever thought about the importance of art education? Through art, students uncover unique ways to understand the world around them. Through art, students discover different approaches to learning. Through art, students can reveal their full potential. Art does have a place in schools. To learn more about art advocacy and how to help prevent art from being brushed aside, contact the Oregon Art Education Association.
A place to grow,
To learn.
To be happy.
To interact.
To play.
To observe.
To live.
Parks enhance the health and quality of life in our communities. Support your local parks. People for Parks, East County.
The League of Women Voters makes history.
Our country would not be the same without their dedication.
Formed by women who organized to win women the right to vote.
It is now a co-ed organization.
Studying, informing, and acting.
Nonpartisan.
Grassroots.
Influential.
Taking political stands on many issues.
The League of Women Voters encourages all citizens to be informed and active in government. Join the League of Women Voters of East Multnomah County in making history today.
Volunteers are the cornerstone of local communities, and they enjoy the satisfaction that comes from being part of something larger than themselves. Multnomah County invites citizens to participate in projects that benefit the greater good of our residents.
No matter where your interests lay, there is a volunteer opportunity for you. From helping families through hard times, to working on a citizen advisory board, to making your neighborhood the place you want to live. The opportunities are endless.
Through offering your time and talents, you can help provide programs and services that benefit all of us. You have the potential to make Multnomah County a better place to work, play, and live.
Volunteering builds skills, provides insight into professions, and engages people in important actions. It shapes both you and your community. Plus, volunteering is fun.
To get involved, contact the Office of Citizen Involvement. Go to citizenweb.org. Shape your community. Volunteer.
Hi, I'm Luke Perry. You're watching MetroEast. Over 25 years of great community media.
Alone, our reach is limited. No matter how great our intentions, on our own, we can only stretch so far. But at Rotary, we believe the right group of people working together can make our communities, our world, a better place. Rotary, humanity in motion.
Hi, and welcome back to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel. We're here at MetroEast Community Media, and I'm delighted to have with me tonight the music director of Fame Academy. Fame Academy, that's spelled P-H-A-M-E,
right.
And the H is for honored.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So I recently read about the Fame Academy and started looking you up on the website, and I fell in love with
It's easy to do.
What is it? I don't know, but tell me, how did you get involved with Fame?
Fame, my involvement with Fame was...
I'm sorry,
was,
I forgot to say, your name is Matthew Gailey.
Matthew Gailey,
I didn't introduce you. He's a music director, he has no name.
Right. Music director, yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, my introduction to Fame was really an accident, a happy accident. I was doing a presentation for Business for Culture and the Arts, and was singing and doing some of the things in front of a group, and Stephen Baudois, the executive director, was there and met me that way, and we started talking a little bit about Fame, and he invited me to come out and see the students perform, so I did that. And from that point on, that was pretty much a life-changing event.
What did you think? What did you think when you saw the performance?
It was amazing, just to see the students as artists in their own right, and to see what they were doing on stage, and see the energy, the excitement, the level of artistry that they possess.
So tell our viewers what's different about Fame.
Well, most organizations that deal with individuals with developmental or physical disabilities work with children.
What all the people at Fame.
Right, right. Yeah. And so what we do is one, we're not a therapy organization, we're a performance-based academy, and we work with adults. I think our youngest student is I think 17, goes all the way up to 60.
Wow.
And so that's a fairly unique niche that had a lot of need. And it got started in the 80s by Carol Stady and a group of parents, and has grown and grown since then.
How many do you call them students? Is that or
students?
Yeah. How many students do you have
performers
there?
We're about right at 100 right now.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Are there any other organizations like this in the area?
We're fairly unique. There's a lot of organizations that serve different aspects of this particular student population, but we're fairly unique in that we offer a place for them to really, like our slogan is talent revealed. So we really focus on their performance ability, their artistic ability. We give them a community. It's like a second family.
I bet. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
So what kind of performances are we talking about? There's singing and what else?
All sorts of arts. So it's a fine and performing arts. So we have choir, we have smaller vocal groups, we have instrumental groups. We also have a large art department that does technical theater, sculpting, painting. So it's really the gamut of the arts, dance. So it's we try to offer the full spectrum of the arts to the students.
And what kind of disabilities are we talking about? What are the types of disabilities that you see in the students?
Name it. I mean, it's a wide range. It's a very, very wide range. I mean, some autistic, some with Downs, some with other disabilities. But we really, our main focus is to really not really so much define them by what they come in with, but just work on revealing their talent, work on what energizes them and what really excites them about performance. And they love to show what they can do, to get up on stage and perform, and it's amazing. Yeah.
I watched some of the video. There was some video. I believe Trent Finlay did some video interviews with some of the performers, and they were great. I mean, they were rock star interviews.
Absolutely, yes. They are a bunch of rock stars.
I believe that. I'm very excited to see the performance. I really intend to go to.
Great.
You have a big tour coming up.
We do.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we do, tell me a little bit about some of the students. In fact, we have some pictures here, and maybe we could take a look at some of them. But I'd like to find out, if you can tell me just a little bit about some of the students themselves, give us a better idea. So, if we can take a look at those, we'll see if we can get those up on the screen.
All right.
I mean, who's this?
All right, so this is one of my favorite pictures. This is Aaron, and I believe that's when Fame did The Secret Garden, and his role in The Secret Garden. But if there was one picture to just basically show somebody in a picture what Fame is all about,
it's this. Huh?
This is it. I mean, you've
Look
got
at
the
joy.
Yes, exactly.
It just
the joy,
exudes from
the
him.
artistic nature of Fame, the community of Fame. This is Aaron just having a blast on stage and sharing himself to the audience and what he can do. So that's a great picture.
Okay, let's see the next one here. I think we have a group shot there.
Okay, so this is part of the Grease production that Fame did.
I wondered about that. Yeah,
our
I would have
cast
loved
of
to have
thousands.
seen that. That's great.
Yeah, and this is another one that just shows, and the picture quite can't capture it, but you get an idea, at least a sense of the energy, the excitement, the joy in all of the Fame performances. And this is what our tour is going to be all about, is giving the students multiple opportunities to do what you're looking at right now.
I love it.
Across multi-counties and just really get out there to more audiences.
Okay, we have one more picture.
Okay.
Let's take a look at that and see. Oh, I recognize him.
Oh yeah, okay. So that's part of our choir rehearsal, it looks like. And so that's we've been really working hard on several pieces to present on our tour. Our upcoming tour. So we're going to feature some soloists. One of the students' all-time favorites right now is the song "Joy to the World" or "Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog."
Yes.
So they're really amped about performing that.
One of the interviews that I saw that was taped, the gentleman said yes, that was his favorite.
Oh
Jeremiah,
yeah, that's a popular one. Yeah. So we'll be doing that.
So tell me about the tour. It's called H is for Honored Tour, and so. Tell me about what can we expect?
Well, it's a multi-county tour. Some of the communities, I wrote down some cheat sheets so I can name some of the communities. So we're going to be in St. John's, East Portland. We're going to go all the way to Estacada, Clark College in Vancouver, Hillsborough, Beaverton, and the culminating performance is at the Aladdin. And so
you guys are big time now.
Yeah, it's a big regional tour. It was a mammoth undertaking and well worthwhile.
How many students are involved in the tour?
Oh wow.
Do you have any idea?
A rough guess, I would have to say probably at least 50.
Wow. Is there a theme to it as far as the performances? Is it just kind of eclectic mix of performances?
Well, that's a good question, and the answer is yes to both of those. Actually. So it is an eclectic mix. In that we're showcasing across the board all of what Fame does and all of what the students of Fame are capable of. So it is eclectic, but the theme is really getting the students' talent out there to honor the students and honor what they can do. So the H is for Honored kind of fits with that. So we'll have big traveling art displays.
So you have that art too, not just a performance art.
Right.
Okay.
Just the gamut. We'll have some theater pieces. I think we're going to bring back a sketch comedy piece that I don't want to reveal too many secrets, but I think that's going to be really great. We're teaming up with Livewire and going to do a sketch comedy that was very successful and bringing that back to the stage. And so they're all very excited about that.
So what does this do for the students?
Wow. Yeah, it's so many things. It not only offers a place of community, which I think is crucial. You can't really talk about Fame without talking about the community that it brings to the students. It's a lot like a second family to a lot of them.
How much time do they spend there?
A ton.
Really?
Yeah, we have 3 terms, usually 9 to 10 week terms a year. And that's 4 days a week. There's classes, and then multiple performances throughout the terms at different venues. And they have a lot of time, both in class and for community time, just to hang out together. And we have the Snowball and the Rose Ball are the big dances each year. So
the dances, that's for them.
That's for them. Yeah, they go and then they just have a blast at the dances and get all dolled up and costumed up and go and have a blast.
Do a lot of because it's become a sense of community and family, do a lot of them get together outside of classes and they form friendships there? They continue outside
the friendships definitely go beyond the classroom, absolutely. And it's just a huge community, and even beyond the community, it goes into, again, artistry and really having a venue or an outlet to have them up on stage or wherever they're performing and showcase them as performers in their own right, because they're amazing performers, absolutely amazing.
Most of the people that come here, the students, do they already know that they have a talent and they want to showcase it, or do people, you think, recognize it in them and refer them there, or how do people get to you?
Both ways, both things happen. I mean, there are some students, just like anyone else, who some are extremely visibly gifted and maybe vocally or instrumentally.
And they've been a great singer since they were 3 or whatever.
Right, exactly,
yes,
just like anybody else. Yeah. And then there are some that come out of a desire to be involved. They just think fame is cool, and they see some of their friends involved and they want to be a part of it too. Yeah. And then lo and behold, we find out later on
everybody's got some kind of talent.
That something comes out like, wow, they can do that. And they're like, yes, I can, wow. Yeah. And that's that wow factor. You see that every day in the classroom.
Incredible
wow, like,
confidence
I can do this.
builder, I would think, and self-esteem builder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's very cool. So you haven't been there very long, right?
No,
this is a fairly new position.
I'm a veteran of about almost 3 months.
So this is all
pretty
new for you.
Yeah.
So far a good move for you?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is amazing. Sometimes I get up and I can't believe that I'm going to work, and I'm going to work at Fame.
Isn't it great?
It's amazing.
I bet it's very rewarding.
Extremely, unbelievably rewarding. Yeah.
And you say you do performances at other venues. What kind of things do you do throughout the year? And is this your first tour? Is this a first tour?
Yes, this is the first time we've done anything like this.
Okay. So it's a big deal.
Yes.
But what about other performances? And will you continue to do other performances?
Oh, absolutely.
At venues?
Absolutely.
So what do you do?
We do a lot of community performances. We just did a big surprise flash mob for the Equity Foundation at the Governor Hotel.
I've always wanted to see a flash mob.
It was great. The students were really into it. We've been to the Aladdin several times. The Aladdin's where we're doing our final show for the tour. And we perform at the Grotto for their Christmas and holiday.
I wish I would have known.
Yeah, that's a great time. And as far as they're concerned, I don't think they could be more excited if they're performing at Carnegie Hall.
Really?
I mean, the Grotto is an amazing time.
It's beautiful.
Yes, it's so much fun. It's a fun performance. And a lot of different little theaters around town. We do a musical every year. So this year's going to be Willy Wonka. That's coming after the tour.
That'll be fun.
So yeah.
So if there are people out in the viewing audience who think that they might become a part of this, or they would be interested in becoming a part of this, what do they need to do?
Just contact us.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of opportunity, whether they're thinking about board opportunities or volunteer or even teaching staff. We're working towards expanding as we grow. The main thing they can do is go to our site. There's links on our site to contact us, and that's Fame Academy with a PH.
Right, a PH.
FameAcademy.org.
What about somebody who might want to be a student there?
Same thing. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. FameAcademy.org.
Do they have to audition?
And they do not have to audition.
Okay.
And there is a tuition, but we also have a tuition assistance if that's needed.
Okay.
So we don't want to have any obstacles to anyone being involved. That's one of the founding principles that was started back when Fame first came about in the mid '80s, was total inclusiveness.
I think it's fabulous.
So,
I think that's great. That's great. I'm very much looking forward to it. So the information is going to be on our screen if it hasn't been already. And it's Thursday, March 27th is the final show. Is that right? At the Aladdin?
Yeah, it's March 22nd.
March 22nd.
Yep, at the Aladdin.
But the whole tour is from the 14th to the 22nd, and everybody can find the information out on the website.
You got it. Yeah, the 14th we start at St. John's Community Center.
Great. And we're just about out of time. Anything else that we need to know, Matthew?
I would definitely like
Matthew Gailey,
to give
music director.
Well, I'd definitely like to give credit to. I definitely would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to Stephen Baudois, executive director, Jessica Dart, artistic director, the Fame board, and then a few names of some organizations that without their support, we would not be doing this tour.
Okay.
And that's the Equity Foundation, the Regional Arts and Culture Council, Work for Art, Multnomah County Cultural Coalition, New Seasons Market, who's supplying all the food for the tour, which is amazing.
Yeah, they're great.
And Oregon Cultural Trust.
Wonderful,
Yep.
wonderful. A few that we've had on here. Yeah. So that's great. Thank you so much, Matthew, for being on here. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be so much fun. It'll be fabulous with a PH.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for watching this segment of Community Hotline. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the Fame Academy. And don't go away. We'll be right back with information from Janus Youth.
¿Están listos?
Free GED Classes.
Are you ready? Clases gratis de inglés.
Yo estoy lista.
Transportation for free. I'm ready.
Clases gratis de computación. ¿Qué listos?
We're ready.
Come to Listos. If we can do it, you can do it.
What am I supposed to do with all these corks?
Turn them into a cork board.
What about all these floppy disks?
How about a fantastic journal?
I wouldn't learn how to make cool things like that.
Well, come on down to Scrap. Scrap has monthly workshops where you too can learn how to make great things. We provide everything you need. For more information, call 503-294-0769 or go to www.scrapaction.org. Scrap. Create more, consume less.
Many people are aware of the problems of hunger and poverty, but few realize how severe these issues are in East County. Every winter we find hungry and homeless people on our streets. Here at SNOCAP, we combat these problems by bringing together the people who have with those who have not. SNOCAP is a nonprofit organization dedicated to serving the needs of low-income persons living in the East Metro area. With the help of community members and the support of local businesses, SNOCAP feeds over 4,000 people per month and distributes clothing to more than 1,000 people per month. You can help SNOCAP by donating your time, donating food or clothing, or making a financial contribution. To find out more, contact SNOCAP at 503-674-8785 or on the web at www.snowcap.org.
Volunteers are the cornerstone of local communities, and they enjoy the satisfaction that comes from being part of something larger than themselves. Multnomah County invites citizens to participate in projects that benefit the greater good of our residents.
Help provide services to thousands of your neighbors. Sound impossible? 1,700 members of your community are already doing this, and so much more, by volunteering with Multnomah County Library.
Library volunteers help their neighbors by teaching computer skills, shelving materials, and promoting literacy in the community. The library provides a wide array of services, including lending popular books and DVDs, computer access, and life-enriching activities.
Give a neighbor a helping hand and spend a couple hours a week at the library, making your community a better place.
To find out more about this volunteer opportunity, visit their website. To explore other volunteer opportunities, contact the Office of Citizen Involvement. Shape your community.
Back to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel. We're here at MetroEast Community Media, and I'm happy to have with us Dennis Morrow, who is the Executive Director of Janus Youth Programs. So, Janus has been around for a long time, and you do a ton of stuff. So, really, there's not enough time to go into everything you do. So, maybe, Dennis, you can give me an overview of what Janus is all about, what the mission is, and what you do.
Well, Janus was actually started in 1972 by Multnomah County. A group of citizens, there were 3 women in the county, that saw a need to have a program where kids on the street using drugs could get help. It doesn't sound radical today, but in 1972 it was one of the first 7 programs in the whole country that actually tried to do residential treatment for kids with drug problems.
I had no idea.
We started with 5 houses at about 30 staff and about 32 kids. I joined the agency in 1980, and as we sit here today, now we have approximately 47 programs. We have 21 different locations. We're in both Oregon and Southwest Washington. Probably serve well over 500 to 550 kids a day.
Wow.
And I think we're one of the larger, if not the largest, nonprofit agency that serves high-risk youth. There's a lot bigger nonprofits, but our focus is primarily on kids that don't have other options.
So you've moved beyond just drug problems for street youth.
Yeah, in fact, we don't even have specialized drug treatment anymore. We use other agencies in the community we refer for that. So Janus has become, I think of it as an umbrella or kind of a home for a number of different programs. Some of the programs we've developed, some of the programs used to be nonprofit agencies on their own in the community and have come under the Janus umbrella to stabilize themselves.
Right. Okay.
So we have quite an array of both names and programs. If you look at it across the board, one of our largest areas that we work in is runaway and homeless youth. So we have Harry's Mother, which is the runaway program in Multnomah County.
And that's been around for a long time.
It's been around since 1976.
Because that's a name that I instantly recognize.
Right.
And did that used to be a separate nonprofit, or
well,
was that
it was
always
actually
under
part of
Janus?
Ecumenical Ministries of Oregon.
Okay.
It started in '76
Okay.
and then came to Janus in 1981. It's been with us ever since. So we provide a 24-hour crisis hotline where parents or teens can call in and get help any time of the day or night. We have a 24-hour awake crisis center where staff are available to help teens and parents. We also take any youth that the police would pick up any time of the day or night in Multnomah County if they are not able to be detained legally, which is a very small number of kids. They come to us, and then we can do emergency intervention. We'll contact the parents. We'll try and get them back home. And if we need to, we have an emergency shelter where they can stay overnight or for a few nights in order to be able to stabilize.
Wow.
So that's one of our program areas.
So runaway youth.
Runaway youth, homeless youth. We do street outreach for Multnomah County. There's 4 agencies that work collectively with homeless youth in Multnomah County, and we are the entry door into the system, just like we are for the runaway youth.
So what does that mean, street outreach?
Street outreach, that means that 365 nights a year, we put teams of volunteers on the street to try and find homeless youth, talk to them, provide emergency aid, supplies, socks, Band-Aids, whatever it takes to try and keep them alive and well, and try and encourage them to come into services off of the street.
So how does that work? How does that work? I mean, are they well received?
Yes, they are, because they know we're going to be there 365 nights a year. They go out with an identifying bag. We always work in teams, and we have just an excellent reputation with the homeless youth. We make over, between Oregon and Southwest Washington, we also do outreach for homeless youth. We make over 30,000 contacts a year.
Wow.
Not different kids, but 30,000 different times we're going to talk to a kid and try and get them off the street.
So if there's a homeless youth out there and is in Portland or the area, they're going to find out about Janus pretty darn quickly.
Yeah, the network will take them right to us.
So if they're ready to get out of that, or then, if they know where to go.
Right. Then we have an emergency shelter for homeless youth that has 35 beds in it downtown. And in the same building, we also have what we call a short-term shelter. So the emergency shelter, they can stay up to a certain number of nights every month. Then if they choose to come off the street, all they have to do is say, I want to get help, get connected with a case manager in one of our partner agencies. They can move upstairs to our short-term shelter, and they can live up there for actually 3 to 4 months, usually waiting to get into a longer-term program in one of the other partner agencies. So we're looking at 70 youth every night off of the streets. And I just actually, this afternoon, just got the latest report. We're still turning away 5 to 7 kids a night.
Really?
In first 2 weeks of December, before the county expanded our capacity, we had 60, they took us up to 70. First 2 weeks of December, we turned away 133 kids.
So darn cold.
Yeah, that was cold, that was rainy, that was terrible.
I wouldn't want to be out there either.
It does not feel good to send kids back
sure
out on the street.
It's a little easier for the homeless youth in the summertime.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what can you do to take care of the rest of those youth? Is it funding, or is it just space?
They mean the other?
Yeah, the ones that have to get turned away?
Yeah, it's more, in this case, probably more space and a little bit of funding. It doesn't take a lot more money, but it takes a little bit more space than we've got right now. We also operate some of the other programs that Janus operates. We're the largest provider of services for teen parents, teen moms in the state of Oregon. We work with over 250 to 350 girls any given time. Over
and
500
what do you
a
do
year.
for them?
We do home visits, infant assessments, parent training.
Really?
Work with them from where they're identified to us, usually prenatally or as soon as the child is born. And we're going out there to try and say to this mom, you made a choice to get pregnant, you made a choice to have a baby, we're not judging that, we want you to be the best mom you can be.
I like that.
So I have a whole array of wonderful...
I like the lack of judgment and the support that's there, the unconditional support.
It's the only way it works, because our job is to make
sure
sure that the babies come up healthy, because the parents of babies of teen moms are at a very high risk for a bunch of really bad stuff later. And what we do is we eliminate that risk by having wonderful home visitors that go out, bond with the kids, be able to make a safe relationship with them.
The outreach team, the home visitors, are these volunteers or are these people that work for Janus?
Outreach teams are predominantly volunteers. We have 3 paid staff, and they actually tend to go into the higher risk areas. So for instance, when Occupy Portland was happening, we only sent our paid our paid staff into there, but we were doing outreach into Occupy Portland every single night that they were there.
So how many volunteers do you think you have?
At any given time, 20 to 30 composing the team. We have people that have been with us from a year out to, I think 9 years is our longest. We just had somebody retire that had actually been doing street outreach for 16 years, volunteering. on the street.
Okay, so there are probably volunteer opportunities all over in Janus?
In some, not all over,
areas?
in limited places. Part of it is because our programs work with many of the programs, a higher risk youth.
Yes.
We have the first emergency shelter beds, for instance, for girls and boys, but predominantly girls who are being sex trafficked. We just opened a long-term shelter, which means it's a place where those girls and boys can live for up to 2 or 3 years.
Girls, boys, separate places?
No.
So all at the same place?
Yeah,
it is, okay. And that's a kind of a new thing, isn't it?
We just opened that in December.
I mean, anywhere. You don't...
The programs are new. There's a handful around the country. Again, Multnomah County asked Janus to coordinate planning for that group of kids. We worked with a number of different agencies. We worked very closely with the Sexual Assault Resource Center, with LifeWorks Northwest, with State Child Welfare, basically with the police, very closely with the police, because they're often the ones that are finding the kids, to basically set up a network of services. So if a girl, again, gets picked up, police bring her to our 24-hour center, we can call and get an immediate advocate there for her. If she needs shelter, we can do emergency shelter. We sheltered just, I think, 78 youth roughly last year. We had the shelter beds for 1 year.
Such a huge problem.
Half of them under age 15.
Oh.
12 to 14 is the average age of recruitment, so it's a major issue. And people always ask, well, where are they from? And I have to say, right here. This is not Thailand.
It's all around
This is not Vietnam. No, these are not, this is not international sex trade. These are our girls. These are our kids. We operate, we're also a registered organic farm. I think the only youth agencies in the state that's a registered organic farm.
I didn't know about that. You call urban agriculture?
Urban agriculture, right.
So tell me about that.
Well, we help establish 2 community gardens in North Portland, starting out in 2 public housing projects that helped the neighborhoods come together and grow things, healthy organic food for themselves, but it also was a community building tool.
I'm sure.
We had a group of youth that we were using the garden to teach the youth how to grow and sell things on a very small scale, and then Metro gave us some land on Sobey Island. So we started out with a 1-acre farm. We now have a 2.5-acre organic farm.
Wow.
The youth plant all winter. Then we have a stipend they get paid in the summer to work in the garden. But they're up early in the morning and they're out there harvesting, planting now, then they're going to harvest. They have a greenhouse out there. They have a washing station out there. They package the stuff, they price it, then they take it to the Portland State Farmers Market. We also go to St. John's Farmers Market up there, and we sell the New Seasons grocery, which was one of the cool things last year.
A great way to learn a skill.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything from, the agricultural part to the marketing.
Yes, and many of these are immigrant children. We have a number of them who didn't even speak English when they started high school, and they're working with us. One of our All-Stars just last year got selected for a Gates Millennium Scholarship.
Wow.
So there's like 20,000 applications in the whole country. Only 1,000 kids get picked, and he was out of Roosevelt High School, and he got selected for that.
Nice.
The other thing that we do with those youth is the food they don't sell, they take back to their community and donate it. They do giveaways to elderly, to disabled, and to people that don't have money. So, and that's organic food, but it's also teaching them a social value.
Yes,
so
it's a good deal. Good deal.
We cover a wide range of.
Now, speaking of all the things you do, you brought in this Janus Youth Program's Tree of Life. Maybe we can get a picture of that. And tell me what we're looking at here.
Well,
we can get that on the screen here.
I had a board member many years ago that said, Dennis, our organizational chart, as you can imagine, has a lot of boxes and a lot of lines, and it's very complex.
Yes.
And he said, only you could know and understand that thing. I need something that explains to me what this agency is about.
Okay.
And how do I know, if I go into a Janus program, how do I know it's a Janus program? And why does it belong to us, and why isn't it somewhere else? So actually this model came out of our garden program, who developed it to explain a lot of the work that they do, and I borrowed it for them, or from them, and it's been amazing ever since, because what it really says is what Janus is, all of this diversity is about kids, predominantly high-risk kids, and it's like a tree, and we call it the Tree of Life because we're trying to breathe life into those kids.
Because you've got the different...
Yes, each limb is an arm of service, and then each leaf is one of our programs.
For example, the residential, the teen parents, education, runaway youth.
Washington State, we're the only emergency shelters in Washington State once you cross the river until you get to Tacoma, and we serve the entire 6 counties of Southwest Washington.
Urban agriculture and homeless youth.
Right. Residential, we do long-term residential care for both boys in the Oregon Youth Authority system and boys and girls in the state child welfare system. So what the tree says to us, and when I talk to new staff, what I tell them is everything, even though you might be one leaf way out here on an end, you're really connected to a much larger organic entity. And we have to have enough nurturance in the tree, which is our volunteers, our donors, the grants that we get in, the partnerships. We have to have enough nurturance to be able to support everybody. And one of the ways we make decisions is if we're going to grow a new leaf, is it going to fit, and are we going to be able to support it? And sometimes we grow leaves, sometimes we lose leaves. Sometimes in a recession you might lose a whole limb off of the tree, but it doesn't kill the tree. It just says sometimes you lose a limb to make it stronger. But everybody belongs. The other thing, if you look here, that's really important is what makes it a Janus program. And what we talk about is we have our core values, and then we have our absolute core values, and they're right here: safety and respect.
Safety and respect.
Because what we believe is that the youth that we work with have grown up a life being disrespected and living in unsafe environments often from small children on. All of our programs are open doors. We don't do any physical restraint. We have an absolute hands-off policy. We never touch a kid. So if a child comes to us or a youth comes to us, an emergency shelter in the middle of the night, they only stay if they feel safe. And they only stay if they feel respected. And if they smell any element that's not safe or not respect, they're out the door in a second. So our mantra that we use with our staff is you can't give what you don't get. If we want to be a safe agency for kids, we have to be a safe agency for staff. If we want to be respectful for kids, we have to be respectful with our staff. And one of the things I think the proudest about is none of this works without staff. Most Janus staff are working barely above minimum wage because that's what the state, county, city, that's what they pay us to work with these kids. They're working with the hardest kids, I believe, in the state of Oregon. And we have over a third of our staff that have been with us for 5 or more years.
Wow. I was thinking, I bet it's a great place to work because it's rewarding and you're cared about and you're safe and respected. Yeah.
We try.
Yeah, it sounds like a great place. So we only have a few more minutes, Dennis. Tell me what people should know about Janus that maybe we haven't covered today. Or tell us what you need. Do you need, more people to, do you take public donations? Do you need volunteers?
We can use volunteers in some of our very special areas, which oftentimes is sometimes in the area of working with the sex trafficked kids, but most often right now it's working with our homeless youth in terms of those street outreach workers. We have a very strong relationship with a number of churches through the faith-based community. They were largely responsible for opening this new shelter for sex trafficked kids.
Really?
A huge amount of donations came in. We have churches that, for instance, will cook a meal one night a month. They will cook a meal for the homeless youth shelter. Because basically we can either have a $60,000 food budget or a zero food budget. And if we have $60,000 that we don't spend on that, then we can hire more staff, then we can get more kids off of the street. So we have a calendar where churches and groups like that can sign up and do those types of things. But mostly, I think, if you think of Janus, the origin of the name Janus is the Roman god of transitions. When you went into the Roman building, you would have a bearded guy looking at you on the outside of the building when you came in, over the doorway. When you got in, he was looking at you. So I think of it, he always was looking at where you came from and where you were going to. And it stands for transitions. January is the first month of the new year. That's that's the Roman representation of that. So what we're doing is we're opening doors for kids. And one of the hardest things for us is having people in the community know that our kids are out there. And one of the things that we often hear is, I've never heard of Janus. I heard of Harry's mother, or I heard of this program, or I heard of it, but I never heard of Janus. Well, largely because our kids are the ones that are invisible. You walk out on the street, you really don't want to see them. Or you want to say those are...
The ones you walk around.
Yeah, you walk around, and you walk around because they're trying to spare change or grab you, and
it's
not realizing that this is a kid who came out of an abusive family that doesn't have any other options. We have programs that work with boys coming out of the state training school. We've had boys that have been 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years locked up.
Oh, wow.
And they will safely go back into the community, but people don't want to know they're in their community, and they don't want to. So part of what I ask for people is just to understand, these are children. There is no homeless youth. There is a familyless child.
I like that.
And that's our philosophy.
On that note, I'll conclude the show. Thank you, Dennis. That was great. And that's a really good point. I'm glad we got that in tonight. We're all out of time. Thank you so much for telling us about Janus. And I'd love to have you on again, share in more depth some of the other programs you have.
Yeah, we'd love to do that.
Great. Thank you. And thanks for watching this edition of Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you here next week.